everybody. This is Tough Times 2, episode 7. I'm here with Philly kind of based, I guess, right?
Yeah, Philly suburbs.
Yeah, sure. Philly suburbs, legend to me and other comedians in the area. Chris Dolan, though.
Hey.
So, Chris, I just like right off the jump, I mean, why is it that it's such a quotable thing that at open mics, I guess, that if the open mic isn't going particularly the way a comedian wants it to go, that they oftentimes say, yeah, the mic sucked, but I got a Chris Dolan laugh. You know?
Oh, I don't know. I really want people to do well. And I, sometimes I laugh to give people, timing laughs because, they're working stuff out and they want to sort of factor in the timing of a laugh that's either there or is gonna be there, and certainly there's a lot of good lines that you'll hear over the course of an evening, and it's just fun for me.
Yeah, I appreciate every time you laugh at one of my jokes because anytime I'm like, oh man, like I go back and I definitely look at that. I'm like, wow, like I mean, how long have you been doing comedy?
Intermittently since about 2009. I
guess.
Yeah.
So like that's a long time, and you've probably seen a lot of things, right?
Quite a bit, but I mean, haven't really accomplished much, but I've seen.
Yeah,
quite a bit.
but I mean, like it's just like you have it's like the I don't know. I mean, just from like what I see in the comedy scene and like how I value it and what I look at in the comedy scene, it's just like eventually when you get to the point in open mics, you kind of want to be like. Well, it's not like you want to be this, but like it's cool to get that appeal when you walk into a room and everybody's like, "Oh, Dolan's here, Dolan's here." It's just like
that. That happens.
Well, it's fun. It's just like I don't know. It's just like everybody admires that, like seeing other comedians that have been doing it for such a long time, just to like put their work in, and you just see them. They're doing the work just like everybody else. But
that's nice to hear.
Yeah.
I don't really go to that many mics anymore, not as many as I used to when I worked in the city and would go to mics after work in the city. And I started late. I mean, I started in my late 40s. I mean, I'm 60 now.
Do you think like when you joined the scene back in like 2009, do you think it was like an abrasive scene, like where people like? I mean, where do you think your first open mic was? Do you remember?
I mean, the first open mic was at Helium, but it was by virtue of having taken a class there, and you were kind of guaranteed a spot on the mic. First you did like a graduation show, and then if you did well enough the graduation show, you would get a spot on the open mic. And now, I mean, it's a business. I understand they don't really run mics, with any regularity anymore.
Yeah.
But so that was the first one, and then I used to go to ones that, so many of them just don't exist anymore. There was one on South Street at a place called L2 that I think is a Starbucks now.
Wow. That's funny to see how things change like that.
And then just a lot of different there's one at a place called Noche, I think, and the way it used before online sign-ups, you would go down to Helium and you'd sign up in person, and if you didn't get on, then you would schlep up the block to Noche and do their mic instead, or you'd watch some of the Helium mic and then leave and go to Noche. And it wasn't particularly abrasive. No one was certainly openly or even all that subtly hostile to me. I mean, there's always a share of shit talking and cliquishness, I guess, but I think if you make an effort to get along with people and you're reasonably good, I guess, then people get along. Oh, and I would go to the Grape Room mic all the time too. I like that room. I like Silas and.
Yeah, I got to get over to that room still. It's got like an online sign up now.
Yeah, they do, which I think is for the better. I mean,
I would agree. I think that is for the better because, I mean, like coming from outside the city, it's a little tougher sometimes to kind of guarantee a spot on a mic.
Right.
But
I mean, it's anyone's prerogative to run a mic the way that they want to run it if they're going to go to the trouble to do it.
I would
But
agree.
The only ones I really go to are the ones that either are a random draw or that go in sign up order. It's just easier to plan your time. I don't.
I don't like the politicalness of like we're gonna choose the order here.
Yeah,
because we're
I
subjective
don't-
to
yeah.
who's like succeeding right now. It's
Right,
just
I
like
don't either. And again, as I prefaced, if you're gonna run a mic and you want the rules to run the run.
And I agree with that too. Yeah.
Then by all means, do it. I just
Yeah,
think,
your show, you run it how you want.
yeah. Sometimes the rationale is a little bit dodgy for why things are run the way they run.
Have you done any have you done any mics like in other states or whatever?
Yeah, like when I was working in Virginia, like outside of DC, I was doing a contract job there. Probably, I think it was like the last like real job I had. It was like 2015 or 2016, and and I went to a couple of mics in Northern Virginia, and they were fun. And pretty welcoming. And there's always this sense of people wanting to be accommodating, or you hope there's a sense of people wanting to be accommodating to someone who's there from out of town. I did ask someone who knew someone to vouch for me to the guy that ran the mic, so that it's not some just vagabond shitheel showing up. Just wrecking things.
Yeah, that's what's nice. Like I mean, like I find myself doing that anytime. Like when I show up to an open mic for the first time, like I ask another comic about the mic. Like I most recently Jay Yoder. I kind of like was just like, yeah, Jay Yoder said this mic was good to the host. And the host was like, oh, you know Jay Yoder? Like, oh, da.
It's
it was
okay
like,
to name check people.
yeah, it was just it was cool. But it's funny to see how that kind of works. I've done a few mics in New York, and they were like paid. Yeah? They were paid mics.
Oh,
yeah,
like paid to get in.
Paid to get in.
You?
No,
Okay.
they definitely weren't paying me. Dude, Dolan was like, "Oh shit, man, I gotta go to New York. They're paying you." But I was just up there. I just felt like when you're paying $5 for a mic, like a lot of comics probably look at that and they're like, well, I would want to pay $5 to do an open mic, but like you kind of get it with like they probably have to pay to like have that space for an hour or something. But you do find that the comics that are there are a little bit more invested in what you're doing.
Yes,
because they've paid $5.
Yeah,
so like they take it a little bit more serious with being there. Yeah, and like they'll actually talk to you about your set afterwards. Like I found more so than other states. I mean, like granted probably like 3 states I've done comedy in: Jersey, New York, and Philly. But
not Delaware yet.
Oh, Delaware too. Yeah, I guess Delaware too. Yeah, that's about right. That's 4. Whoa, wow, look at that. Yeah, it's just like I don't know. I see some of these other comedians. They take trips to like Texas and stuff. I've always been like trying to entertain that. Yeah, but I would like to like maybe do some open mics up in Boston. But like I mean, granted, you have to go into that with the commitment, like knowing that you're going to be down like $400 or $500. Like, so it's like.
I mean, it's like if I were to go on vacation with my wife. I mean, she doesn't want to. I mean, and this isn't a dig. I mean, obviously we've been together a while. She doesn't want to come to Mike's here. I mean, I don't imagine she's going to want to go to Mike's in, Scottsdale, Arizona or something.
My last girlfriend, she never wanted to go to any mics. And I was like, wow, that's why I'm probably with you. Like I don't want you to go through that.
You have the honesty to know that,
Yeah.
I mean, it did reach a point where it'd be like, okay, well, who's going to be there? And I would sort of rattle off a few names of people, that she knew, and that would at least get her closer on the fence before she got off the fence again.
Okay, have you had any like tough times in comedy, you think? Like what have you had any like
Guess it did.
Early on maybe like when you were like,
Yeah, sure. I bombed in front of a room of cops. I mean,
oh yeah,
yeah. It was embarrassing.
Of course, that's the worst feeling ever.
Yeah, and part of it was atmospheric, but the vast majority of it was me and the way that I put my set together, and not really getting out of the gate with quick jokes, like quick hits, to sort of get people engaged.
Yeah.
And, the same thing happened once when someone invited me to do a set.
That's the best.
in front of I think it was like a cigar club
Oh,
at
man.
at the Union League, downtown, and,
Yeah.
and it's always this, where they didn't necessarily know that there was going to be like a comic at their cigar club. So
Yeah.
it was terrible. I mean, I will say that there were like 3 or 4, generous souls, near the stage who seemed to be paying attention, and 1 or 2 people come up afterwards and sort of sympathize or empathize. I'm not sure which is the right word, with just how awful it was. And, and say that there was a joke or 2 that they liked, probably more out of obligation than sincerity.
I couldn't relate more. Like I did a show for Cisco maybe like I don't know a year ago.
Okay.
And some chick was at that show. And she like kind of called me.
Oh.
She found my number somehow.
All right.
Called me and was like,
Yay.
"I would like you to do an hour down at the
Wow.
VFW." Right? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy, yeah, right. And at the time I probably have done like what 12 minutes max maybe, and like I'm like, oh, an hour. Like I kind of like cracked up on the phone.
Sure,
I started laughing. I was like, yeah, like that's cool. She's like, I'll pay you like $200, and I was like, that's even cooler.
Okay,
but like,
yeah.
hey, like, I could probably fill an hour of time.
Yeah.
We'll bring some comics down. Like, we'll do a little show.
Right.
And it was interesting. It was like my first time ever putting on a show, I guess.
Mhm.
So I told her. One mistake was I told her, instead of paying us, can you just give us free drinks?
Oh.
So I
okay.
tried to look out for the team there.
Yeah, I guess.
Which was fine, but like, I mean, like the team definitely made out on that. I think.
Yeah,
I didn't
sure.
drink that much, but like I should have probably took the money. But
That's a VFW, so I'm sure they're.
oh
drinking,
my
like,
gosh, it was a very poor
Bankers
setup.
Club liquor.
It was it was definitely cheap liquor. Yeah, it was definitely bottom shelf. Yeah. So. There's a Sixers playoff game on. That was like already problem number one. Like I walked in, there was like 20 TVs. There's Sixers on every channel, and like there was diehard Sixers fans there. Then like there was like kind of like a bar, like kind of like a situation like this. There was like a bar over there, and like everybody was in the bar. And then there was like another section where it's like, okay, stage in the corner, and then there's a pool table taking up like a majority of like where seats should probably be for a comedy show. And then like, I don't know. A lot of people were just like what you were saying. Like they weren't really expecting a comedy show to be at their club, and it was just like, man, I ended up doing 25 minutes.
All right, that's good.
It was
You
fun.
stretched out.
It was fun to get the experience, but like, I think there's like a point in my set. Some dude walked by and he was just like, all right, man, wrap it up. He's like, no, I think he actually said, I'll give you $60 to wrap it up. And like, I was just like, sure.
You mean on top of the 200?
Yeah, I was like, I'll take $60, man. Like,
free drinks,
and then like he
open
quickly
tab.
backed down when I was
Yeah.
like, I'll take the $60,
Yeah,
man. I'll wrap
sure.
this up right now. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
like whatever. Like
Put your
that's
money where your mouth
that's
is.
good money, man.
You
Yeah,
know,
I
thank you
exactly.
for your service.
I exactly said that to him. I'll throw that clip in here too because I think I have it lying around.
Yeah, I'll pay you to get off stage if you.
I love that. How much?
Come on, $100 to get the fuck out of here.
Give me $100. I'll get out of here. The guy doesn't even have $100. You give me $100, I'll get out of here.
50.
50? Give it. Pull it out.
I'll be over at the.
Look at this guy. Look, he's lying. He doesn't have any
I'll
money.
give you $50.
Give me $50. I'll get out of here. That's a clip that I probably never wanted to get out, but I'll put it out.
Yeah.
Just for like, it was just like
that's
it's just
brutal.
And then I was out back there, and like the one like via VFW, there's vets there. The one dude, he's like missing an arm. He was just like, yeah, man, I thought I had it bad with the one arm thing, man. And I was just like, that's good, dude. Like, I was getting beat up by the vets outside. I was just like, all right, man, I know I bombed. Like, I'm going to drive home in silence.
Yeah,
Like, you already won, but.
The thing is,
But you learn from it. I mean,
You
like,
do.
like I was like, I drove home and I was like, I'll never let that happen again,
Yeah.
But I mean, it'll happen again.
Well,
but
it's an object lesson in places, or pre-qualifying places that are going to be somewhat conducive
Yeah.
to comedy. And when you take jobs from other people who are running shows, you kind of take it on faith that they're going to have done that sort of due diligence.
yeah.
And if you're running your own show, at least you get to sort of control, to the extent that
Yeah.
the venue will let you, how it's set up and presented and staged and lit and
Like
whatever.
something that I really learned looking back is I shouldn't have been afraid to book anyone that was like kind of funnier than me.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I had like a weird thought about that, and I don't know why I was in my own psyche about that, but it was just like I probably should have been like, "Hey, look, I'm not the headliner here for this. Like, maybe we put a headliner here. Like,
sure,
I should have brought somebody in for that audience, maybe, like maybe even a Chris Dolan, or like a Jay Yoder or something." But
let's say Jay.
yeah, either one of you guys probably would have.
But no, I've run
made
shows
more fun
and
with
I
it,
don't
but
put myself up for more than 10 minutes.
Yeah, it was definitely something to learn. Like doing 25, I was like, all right, this was kind of weird.
Because
but
there's a beauty in getting to watch the show and enjoy it too. Going back to your point, which is, hey, I have somebody on this show who I really enjoy watching and hanging out with, and now I get to do it and pay them and
that's very true.
Yeah, it brings a whole new kind of level to the
it really does
to the show running experience. I mean, you just you can hire 4 people who are right out of the gate and sort of see if they're ready or not, but I would rather run a show knowing that I have people that I've seen,
especially if you're putting your name on it,
that are ready.
Yeah,
because if you want to go back there and put on another show,
of course, because that was definitely the conversation we kind of had. She was just kind of like, yeah, we're thinking we're gonna do like a karaoke thing next month, and I was like, oh yeah, no worries, because like prior to that it was like talks of like a 12-month thing or like
boy.
Yeah, and I think I really dropped the ball there, but I mean it's like you learn, live and you learn, and it's just like maybe that may have not been the right kind of room setup either, layout wise.
Well, people need to be sort of guided too. I mean, there's a place where I've run shows, and they're like, hey, we just wanted to check with you. We wanted to do like a couple comics and then an intermission and then start the show again. I'm like, nope. Because once you've lost the audience for 5 or 10 minutes, it's ridiculous trying to wrangle everyone.
The intermission can really kill things.
Oh yeah, it's just such a bad idea.
Especially for a comedy
if you're working
show.
with good enough people, you can give them a solid explanation as to why it's never really done.
Yeah. It's crazy that SNL kind of does that intermission with the music. I've always hated that when I was a kid. I don't know why.
I think it's for setup time. For because all the
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
I've never got that explanation ever.
Set up and that's redundant. And costuming and things
I forget that it's all done live. Yeah. So that makes a lot of sense. Okay.
Yeah, from listening to the Spade and the Dana Carvey podcast, they talk a lot about the behind the scenes logistics and. They never really talk about what's done during the musical guest, but it's like musical guest and then weekend updates, so it kind of gives everybody on the show about
costumes and all that
10 minutes to kind of get things I guess a semblance of a and a way to get set up for the back half of the show.
That's the stuff I'm always kind of interested about. I mean, I don't know, I'm like my original podcast that I had, Tough Times, it's like it's getting tougher to shoot.
Yeah.
Because my co-host, he's just like, he's busy.
Oh,
that's his whole thing. He's so busy. And like it's just like, okay, I get it.
Busy with work, busy with other comedy stuff, busy with
busy with his life, I guess.
Okay,
he's getting married and whatnot.
right.
But it's like I get it.
Yeah,
so it's just like, but he was telling me that we could only shoot like maybe once a month, and I was like,
boy.
that's gonna like that puts a bullet in the podcast pretty much. I was pretty much like, look, man, you let me down easy. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
So I'm going to move to a new format. It's called Tough Times Tonight, I guess. And I was thinking about doing some sort of thing where it's like I have a desk, there's 2 chairs, and then like, it's just like run my own late night show kind of in a sense.
Talk show format.
Yeah, and then like maybe bring in a local musical guest, like where I shoot with them.
Yeah.
Like, but it would be done at separate times, obviously, just because like I wouldn't be able to like have the logistics, I think, of shooting like live all the time like that. But it would be fun to maybe like entertain that. It's gonna be a new journey that I'm off on. Yeah, down the line maybe I'll have you on that too.
That'd be fun.
But,
Wish you luck with it.
Yeah, it should be fun. You think you have anything coming up in comedy?
Do I have shows coming up in comedy, or let's see?
Like, what do you think? Do you have like a favorite moment in comedy that you've had, or like a favorite like kind of story that like maybe that kind of like always has stuck with you from comedy? What makes you like because I guess it's like almost a 2-parter.
Not a single favorite one so much. Like did okay in like a couple of contests. There's this LOL
Mhm.
Grand thing down in Delaware, and that was
Yeah.
probably the first time performing on a big stage, to a seated theater
Yeah.
audience. And
Did you
that
ever
was-
do Philly's Funniest?
I did. I just and I advanced a couple times, but
That's
I
fun.
never
That's
I
all
never
I'm
really
after.
made a dent.
I would love to just advance one time. That's
Yeah.
it. That's all I need, just for like a little like
Mhm.
self little like motivation there.
Yeah, it's just I
It seems like a very
decided
good. I mean, did you try really hard? I mean,
yes, I tried really hard
to
but
bring
I just
people out.
No, not to bring people
Yeah,
out.
that's
I
that's
mean,
what I was curious about. Like,
Yeah.
I don't like to try really hard to bring people out. I would like to just advance on my own sense
Sure.
of like sheer like other people are there. They're like, this kid was
Right.
funny. Let's move him on.
I just didn't like the competitive. I don't like how comedy competitions make me feel. It's sort of just for me.
Yeah.
There's a sort of what do you call it? Like a baseline sort of discomfort.
Mhm.
With well, I'm funnier than them, or
I agree.
And that kind of mindset is just not good. Everybody says, well, I'm just going to go in and get a good tape out of it, and that's all well and good, and you can get a good tape out of it, but you want to win, or you want
yeah.
to do well too, and when you don't, it just I don't know, it just made me feel bad, so I
Yeah.
just don't do it anymore.
My whole thing with that, the way I look at it as a comic is, I look at it as in the sense of, I'm not going there. I go there for good video. That's one. But I mean, like, the other reason I go there is just to, like, I understand that I'm paying $20 to do helium.
Yeah.
It's just like, that's like the only, like, I guess it's just like, I personally as a comic don't get too much of an opportunity to do crowds of 200 people.
Yeah.
And I just like, I'm like, you guys want $20? Sure.
Yeah.
I'll throw you guys
never
$20.
Seen
Like,
a bad room. I mean, I think the last time I went down and watched.
after COVID, I do feel like it died down with the
Yeah.
packness of it,
Mhm.
which is like understandable.
Well,
but
it's the pack. And it's also that they've expanded
Mhm.
I think the field of entrance and just jam
it's a lot.
2 shows
It's a lot.
into a night, however many nights a week. Which, hey, look, it's a business. I understand why they
Yeah.
do that instead of some other things, because it's guaranteed to be a triple-digit seated crowd.
Yeah.
With an average check of at least
Yeah.
$12 probably.
Yeah. Probably more nowadays.
I would think, yeah. I
2
mean,
drink minimum, I think. It's probably
Yeah.
like $30.
Yeah, so with 2 waters, you'd probably barely get out of there for
Yeah.
$12.
Oh yeah. It's crazy over there. Yeah.
I want value for my comedy.
Oh yeah. Like I don't think they sell drinks less than $10 over there. Yeah. That's what I've noticed at a lot of these mics we go to nowadays. It's just like drinks, $8,
Yeah.
$10. Like I noticed
Right.
that you almost can't even survive doing that almost every night. Like the other night, I caught like a ticket the one night, and it was like I spent like $100 at an open mic pretty much because it was like
Yeah.
$50 ticket. Then
Right.
like I don't know, they apparently had the best burger in New Hope.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
Oh,
had-
all right. I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about. Yeah.
I don't want to put them on blast, but I
Yeah.
tried that burger and I had a violent like 4 a.m. wake up, and I was done. I was down for like 3 days,
Yeah.
man. Like I was like I almost probably never eat food there again, but.
Now it's the most memorable one.
Of course. Yeah.
You'll
yeah.
never forget.
Yeah, I was like, wow, I spent like $100 on a burger last night, and then I lost it all the next morning. Like my dad, like he shoots me a text every morning at like 4 a.m.
Oh, okay.
Like just to be like, hey man, have a good day.
That's
And
nice.
It's definitely nice. It's
Yeah,
definitely nice.
super
And
nice.
and like if I'm awake at that time, I shoot him a text back. And
Yeah.
I was like just vomiting at like
Ugh.
4 a.m. and I shot him a text back. He's like, up early, huh?
Yeah.
You know, he's just like,
Not
'cause he's
because
like,
I wanted to be.
yeah, he's like an old school guy. I was like, yeah, I tried this burger last night. Best burger in town, they say, man. Yeah.
But yeah, it is. I mean, if you're gonna, patronize the, the establishment and buy drinks and stuff, yeah, it does get a little bit expensive. It makes. Do you have to now going back to your New York mic? You paid $5 to get in. Are you on the hook for 2 drinks in addition to the $5?
No. No.
Really?
I'll tell you
Okay.
what, the one mic, they give you a drink ticket with the $5.
Get out of here.
Yeah, and that was Broadway Comedy Club, I think.
Okay.
So you're just like, wow. Like,
Yeah. This
okay,
is the
like
best
so you're
value in
getting
all
a
of
mixed
open
drink
micdom
with
in
the
the
ticket,
city.
yeah, and
Yeah.
then like, you're getting like 6 minutes. I remember the one time they let you go twice.
Wow.
Yeah, they were like, yo, not a lot of comics are here, so like
Yeah.
we'll just like bop it twice.
I've
So
been
you're
in
gonna get
there.
a second
It's
set
kinda
of 3
like
minutes.
An unfinished basement, right? Like Broadway, or is it the smaller?
There's
room
that one.
upstairs?
What's the one room that I'm thinking of? It's the one with like it's got a piano on the backstage there. Like Sandler got his like huge start there, I guess.
Can't remember.
Chris Rock used to go there. It's just one stage, red back, kind of.
Okay.
I can't remember. I can't think of it right now.
Yeah,
But
I haven't gone to enough.
my
places
favorite
there.
thing about New York was like, which I want to do it more, was going up there on Sundays at like, I'd leave at like 10 a.m., get up there at noon, and you could hit 5 mics in a day.
Wow,
It was a beautiful thing.
that's cool.
Yeah, and if you bring 4 comics, it's like $30 a person.
All right.
You know, so you're like gas, tolls,
Okay.
the parking.
I was just gonna say, are you using mass transit to get around the city, or are you just
So
jumping back in
a couple
your car?
trains. We got a little Metro card.
All
you
right.
know,
Yeah.
I learned the Metro card, and there was like we planned it so it was like you park at this one building, you do a mic right outside that building.
Yep.
Then you take the train, you do another mic.
Mm-hmm.
Then you do 2 mics at that one place because it's back to back. They do a 3 o'clock mic and a 4 o'clock
Oh,
mic.
nice.
So then you take the train back over to like this other area, and then you
Uh-huh.
do another mic there.
Wow.
Yeah. So then right by the
That's
parking
efficient.
garage. Yeah, it's pretty efficient. Like I mean, granted, it would probably take me a little bit to figure out that route.
But
My co-host, he was the guy who was like the navigator of
well,
that.
that's
but
good. You
but it
got
was
somebody
like
with you that knows what they're doing.
yeah, it was nice. And then I don't know, maybe I definitely do that again over the
Yeah,
next
good.
few months. But
Yeah,
it's
nice
it's
to get,
fun to go up there.
sort
You meet a lot of
flex in
other
a different
people.
city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is a lot of people that try to take advantage of like younger comedians that you can kind of like smell it out. I mean, like if you don't have the street smarts, you kind of probably do get
Oh, all
pulled.
right. Mhm.
But I would think that there's like a lot of like in the sense of like they'd be like, hey, like like one of these rooms will get a hold of you, because you're paying $5 to
Yeah.
be on the show and all
Right.
that, and they'll get a hold of you and they'll be like, hey man, you want to do like a show up here?
And is it like a bringer thing?
Bringer thing.
Yeah.
You're bringing like
Yeah.
5 people,
Uh-huh.
but like if you don't bring the 5 people, then you're on the hook for like the
Yeah.
$35 a seat, which is
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
it's a little
that's
crazy. I had a
good,
friend,
yeah.
my co-host, he actually did it one time,
Mhm.
and I remember he was just like he hit me up on a random Tuesday, and he was just
Yeah.
like, "You're coming with me, right, man?" And I was like,
Yeah.
No. But I'll buy the ticket for you just to like help you
Yeah,
out,
right. Yeah,
like,
exactly.
just to cut your cost a little bit.
Sure.
But now you owe me one down
That's
the line.
decent.
But
Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, it's nice. But it's just cool to do some at different rooms.
Yeah.
Anytime you do a different room, I kind of enjoy that. Like,
Right.
I mean, recently, it's a shame that mic on Mondays had closed.
Yeah. That's bumming.
But I replaced it with John and Peters.
Yeah.
Like that's actually like one of my favorite rooms now.
That's good. Yeah, I performed there a few times. And
That's
I
cool.
love Mike and
The room is just nice.
Yeah, it's low ceilings.
Oh,
and
yeah,
a lot of
it's-
history in that room too. A lot of
So much
great
history. My
musicians.
dad was like, yeah, I used to go there as a kid.
Yeah.
Because like he grew up in Lambertville area, so it
Yeah.
was like kind of right there.
Yeah, I don't fan out, but like the dude
Ween?
from Ween is there.
Ween,
like, all
yeah.
the time, and
I actually just found out who Ween was the other day.
really?
Yeah, somebody just told me about him. Like when I was there, I saw a dude with a Ween shirt on. I was like, who the hell's Ween? And
Yeah.
he was just like, oh, they got their start here at John and Peters.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know they wrote the SpongeBob theme song.
yeah,
And like that's how like the guy who made SpongeBob, he got inspiration to make SpongeBob off of listening to like a Ween album.
Sure.
Which is like kind of crazy, like full circle for him to go get them to make the intro song.
the
But
voice of SpongeBob is originally from Syracuse, New York.
Really?
Not far from where I grew up.
what's
Yeah.
his name again?
Tom
Is it
Kenny.
Tom
Yeah.
Kenny.
Yeah, he and Bobcat Goldthwait were.
He's a
buddies.
special voice actor.
Yeah.
He's a special voice actor. Like one of my favorite voice actors of all time. I consider him an actor. Frank Welker.
Yeah, yeah.
Guy,
Done a lot of The
that guy
Simpsons.
is like a legend almost. I mean, like he's done Scooby and I think Fred for like a numerous amount of times. I got a couple Fred Welker autographs at the house.
Mm-hmm. No
kinda.
kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was funny. I bought a pack of like these Scooby Doo cards,
Oh, okay.
and like my roommates got real into like these trading cards at some point.
Yeah.
And I was like, I could do cards better than them, And I bought a pack of these Scooby Doo trading cards, and I was like, Frank Welker. I found out he's got the most acting creds for any actor ever.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like just for like he's been doing the voiceover for like Scooby and all that. So he's in every Scooby, every movie and all that. But
Super lucrative.
yeah, it's very super lucrative, I'm sure. I'm sure he's flooded with money.
Yep.
It's crazy to like dodge all those years and just like not
Yeah.
even get canceled too. You say
Yeah,
something
right.
outlandish or something, but
Yeah. He could probably walk into a room and
yeah.
not that many people might know who he is.
He's got to be in like exactly right. And like that's why voice acting is so like kind of it's very interesting to me. Like I mean
Yeah.
nowadays you go back, you watch a cartoon, I pick up on these voices, and I'm like, dude, that is absolutely insane that like this
Yeah.
guy's been a voice actor and whatnot. Like John Goodman, he's like does a lot of cartoon voice work and whatnot. You ever think about getting into voice work like that? Would you take it if somebody offered it?
I absolutely would.
It'd be so much fun.
I do some lightweight radio voiceover.
Oh, yeah?
Now, yeah.
That's very cool.
Not much, but just calling into stations.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've called into a few stations like just to mess around, have some
Yeah.
fun. Like my most recent was the John Kincaid show. I called in after a Washington Commanders fan, and after they beat the Eagles on that Monday night.
Yeah.
I called in and I was just like, it's funny because like I called the studio and it's like some intern, some kid there, and he's just like, hey man, what do you want to talk about? And I'm like, I want to talk about how the Birds messed up last night, man.
Yeah.
And he's just like, oh, cool, we'll get you on. And then I'm just
great.
like, I got on and I was like, yo, the Commanders handed it to you guys last night, and
Taylor
he
Heineke.
gave me 3 minutes of
That's great.
just riffing on the radio, which
That's
is
so
fun.
weird.
It's so strange that he gave me the time of day like that.
I
But
was just listening to a hockey calling show, and I want to say for the first time ever, the caller was trying to like get off the call, and the host was just like, no, stick,
oh, that's
no,
so
hang on,
funny.
hang
That's so
on,
cool.
hang on, I want to ask you another thing, and
That's
kinda,
cool.
Begged, or borrowed more time from the caller, which I'm sure made him feel great.
Oh,
which
yeah.
is unusual because those sports talk.
It was
radio
unusual to me
shows-
too. He was telling me I can call in anytime. I was
Yeah.
like, dude, thanks, man.
Right.
Like, all right.
Yeah, they need quality voices. I'm sure.
I would
instead of
think so.
Sociopaths.
Yeah, like I didn't get on there and start cursing. I was very
Yeah.
mindful.
Yeah,
I was
right.
like, okay, I'm on the radio. I don't want to
Yeah,
say anything
you have
crazy
a
here.
coherent point.
Yeah.
and we're succinct in presenting it. And,
Yeah, I would be very disappointed if radio died.
Yeah, me too.
That's how I find out all my I actually listen to radio pretty heavy.
News
like
radio.
all types of radio.
No
I mean,
kidding,
like
yeah.
I like big right now for me is jazz.
Okay.
I like a lot of jazz right now.
Yes.
Just like I've been on Herbie Hancock. I mean,
Okay.
like just like all types of that stuff. The 901 station.
Mm-hmm.
That one's just good,
That's
but
neat.
it's just very good thinking music.
Yeah, I got satellite radio like 15 years ago. and
Really?
I thought I'd give it up, but I
You still got it,
I
huh?
still got it, and just listened to a variety.
That was
of
really
different
popular
stuff.
back in the day. I feel
Yeah.
like my dad's got one. I want to I wish I could listen to satellite radio. I'm jealous of people that can. Like my
Yeah.
one buddy's got it in his car, and it's like grandfathered in, I guess. But
Yeah, and I could listen to it on like the
probably a lot of good.
Google devices and stuff around the
Yeah,
house. And,
that's nice.
yeah, it's neat.
Yeah.
It's nice to listen to new music.
Oh,
or
yeah.
to different genres of old music.
Even just interviews too. I would
Yeah.
think you just like you kind of learn from just listening to other people.
Yeah,
and that's
I've
yeah.
completely flipped on the podcast. Zeitgeist, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I'm like, who the hell is interesting for an hour? Turns out quite a few people.
I'll tell you what. When I used to be jammed up, it's pretty insane, right? Like I was actually just the same way, and I was like, I got real into true crime when I was working in
okay,
Jersey.
yeah.
I got really into true crime, and I just like love watching these Dateline episodes. I wouldn't even watch them; I would just listen to them because
Sure.
like that's all my work would like kind of do. And then at a point, I was like, I got to find something else. So I found a true crime podcast.
Yeah.
And honestly, I found it at probably like the most beautiful time. Like this would probably never happen again in life.
Mm-hmm.
But so this kid, he started out doing a podcast. He was like, I'm just gonna look at unsolved crimes.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm gonna dive into this one case that's unsolved murder of this girl Tara something.
Yeah.
And he's like, we're gonna do 6 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And he was doing the episodes, and he got to the 6th episode, and he was like, well, we've uncovered some details. Like,
Yeah.
we're going to keep going. And behold, 10 episodes later, this guy solved the crime.
My God.
He found the murderer.
That's
Like, people were
incredible.
calling him, telling him to stop looking into this.
Wow.
It was just like... It was such
That's
a crazy
nuts.
podcast. I was like, I can't believe I'm watching this in real time. And then
Yeah.
like Dateline eventually stepped in. They started
Yeah.
talking to the kid. Now the kid's
Right.
got his own show. He's got his
Sure.
own show,
Yeah.
his own crime show. And I'm like, dude, that's amazing that he was
Yeah.
able to parlay that off of just
Yeah,
doing a
it's like
podcast.
It's like the Innocence Project, only it's some dude with a
Yeah.
with a podcast.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's crazy to see that. That's like kind of like the future almost. I mean, like I would almost entertain listening to a podcast.
Well, if you decide to take a parallel path in addition to comedy and decide to start solving crimes, and
I know, right? Yeah. Oh
One of
man.
them has to work out.
I know. Honestly, yeah. Like something's got to work there, you know. But Chris, man, I appreciate you giving me the time.
Oh,
Thank you,
happy
man.
to. Thank you for giving me the time.
Yeah,
It's
man.
always nice getting to know somebody a little better. And,
Of course, man.
Shooting the bull.
Of course. If you have anything you want to plug, you have any shows coming up? I'll probably release this pretty soon.
Yeah,
So
March 8th at Melilani Cafe. March 25th, I am back at Brothers Kirshner Brewing Company in
Nice.
Skiback, Pennsylvania.
Nice.
Hosting or participating in a show headlined by Anita Wise of Seinfeld.
oh, nice. I met Anita over at John and Peter's.
She's
Very
terrific.
nice.
Yeah.
She's hilarious, man,
super
and
fun, too.
she's very nice too. She was
Yeah,
like, nice
super
Seinfeld hat.
gracious.
She was like, I was on that.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
The people you meet. Well, thank you again.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Appreciate it, man.
do.
Cool.